I remember the day I was sitting on the couch sobbing my heart out when the cat came and hugged me with its body to comfort me. We hope you enjoy our story of how sensitive cats can be to our moods. I remember at one time I inherited a 6-year-old female cat. She was a black and white and her name was Micah. She arrived at my house in a cardboard box sealed with duct tape. I took her out of the box, picked her up and showed her around. Firstly, I showed her the litterbox in the bathroom, and then I carried her to the kitchen and introduced her to the food and water bowl. Then I gently placed her on the floor near the food bowl. Poor Micah ran and hid behind the geyser above the stove, where she spent the next 3 days. Several times a day, I would get on the little stepladder to check on her. I would talk to her in my gentle voice. "There's a good kitty cat. You've been through a lot, but I think you'll like it here. How are you doing, my girl?" During those 3 days, I don't think she ever came out to eat, drink, or even use the bathroom. Finally, on the 3rd day, she came out. I was watching TV in the living room. She appeared in the doorway between the kitchen and the living room and looked at me in silence. I said, "Hello, Micah, I'm glad you finally came out." And she gave me a loud meow and ran over to me and immediately began rubbing her face against my leg. She jumped onto the couch next to me and was nuzzling my side. I petted her gently and made encouraging noises, and then she settled in on my lap. At this point, she did something I'd never witnessed before. She gave me a hug. She put a paw on each of my shoulders and tucked her head under my chin while pressing her entire body against my chest, all the while purring like mad. It was like a big bear hug. I put my arms around her and petted her and said, "Oh, Micah, I know exactly how you feel. I too have been alone and afraid in a strange place." After a while, she curled up in my lap and purred herself to sleep. While I had Micah, I went through a lot of life changes. I met a girl and fell in love, and we moved in together. We found a tiny house we could afford and moved in. A few years later, she broke up with me. She suggested that we end our relationship and remain friends. It was clear that I needed to move out. It took some time and effort to find a home where I was allowed to keep a cat and that was suitable to work from home. I found an apartment and started setting up the living room. I had just moved the couch to where I thought it should go, and I was suddenly overwhelmed with sadness. I missed my ex, and I felt so lonely all of a sudden. I slouched in the corner of the couch and started sobbing. Micah came running into the room, jumped onto my lap, and gave me the bear hug again. It brought immediate relief, and I felt less alone. It was like a warm, reassuring hug from a close friend. I hugged her back and started to feel good enough to unpack the kitchen and prepare a meal. That first night when she came out from her hiding spot, and the day I cried on the couch, were the only 2 times that I received a hug from her. Cats can be very sensitive to their owner's moods and levels of discomfort, and they will most likely reach out to comfort their beloved human. Receiving a big warm hug from my cat in my time of despair was a good example of a cat showing care for their human. Cats show affection to you as an owner in many different ways. Some cats will show a lot of affection, while others may not. So, that's our story for today. Please leave a comment to share your feelings about it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye and see you soon.